Hello, all you wonderful people out there in the dark. How are you this evening? Good, I hope. So, earlier today, I was doing some thinking while drinking. Not here, I don't just sit here all day. I was actually in the other room. I like to call it drinking thinking, or drinking thinking. And it occurred to me, I have some insight, or that's not the right word. I have some knowledge that you may not have about playing cards. You know, just good old playing cards. And I thought, my goodness, I probably have some information that people don't know, and it's been keeping them up nights, not knowing really any information about the history of playing cards. And I just thought to myself, Self, you need to share this information so your friends can get a good night's sleep tonight. I was doing you a disservice. So, without further ado, here is a brief, because if you dive into this card stuff, it's a deep dive into the history of playing cards. Now, we have to start all the way back at the Tang Dynasty. That's in China, it's about 1618. The reason we go back to the Tang Dynasty, most everyone agrees that playing cards made of paper came about in China about 1618. And the reason they believe that, of course, is that's when paper was invented and the wood block printing press, invented by the Chinese, along with gunpowder, a myriad of stuff. Look at it. But anyway, so the Chinese invent some variant of cards, and a lot of people think that these cards were used as like play money, like Monopoly money, because at about this time, games like dominoes and chess and various dice games are sort of becoming a thing, I guess, or being developed and fine-tuned. And I think, like anything, it's always fun to bet, and having play money means no one gets stabbed in the neck with a pen. So, Tang Dynasty, 1618. Well, obviously, from China, this sort of technology, if you will, drifts into Persia, drifts into India, eventually Egypt, and at some point, using the East India Trading Company, the Silk Roads, a lot of the trading routes, it lands in Europe. And by Europe, I mean England, France, Denmark, Sweden, the Ottoman Empire, the Austrian Empire, about 1250 to 1517 or so, give or take. It lands in what we would consider modern Europe. Well, about this time, there's this cat, Pope Gregory VIII, and he decides that he's going to bless and decree the Gregorian calendar, shocker, would be the calendar for the ages. And it's actually the calendar that we use today, some variations, but essentially the Gregorian calendar is one reason we have the set of cards that we have today. Because, as you know, the calendar that we use today has 52 weeks. This deck of cards has 52 cards. This deck of cards has 4 suits: hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades, all of which are variants of things that were being done in Italy and France and Germany. It's kind of an amalgamation of things over the years. But basically, at that time, there were 4 suits that represent the 4 seasons of the year. Now, everyone knows, or you should know, that every season has 13 weeks, which oddly enough is the number of cards in each suit. You have 10 numerical cards and 3 royal cards, a king, a queen, and at one time it was a knave and some other things. Today it's a joker. And then even within those, we have 4 sets of royal cards, which is 12, which is the 12 months of the year, right? Because you've got 4 suits, and 3 king, queen, jack. Follow me? So we got 52 weeks, 12 months, 13 weeks, all tied to the calendar, all tied to the first iteration of our modern deck of cards. Now, some have said that it's possible that the 4 suits actually represent the 4 phases of the moon. Maybe, or the suits could even represent, say hearts could represent water. I don't know, the clubs could be fire, diamonds could be earth, and spades could be air. This is something along those lines. But for the next long stretch of time, the cards just sort of tighten up. And then one day in 1860, in the good old US of A, our contribution to the cards, the Joker. I shit you not, this was our contribution. Obviously, it's a wild card used for poker. It was called the Joker card or the Trump card, which I find a certain irony in that the Joker is also known as the Trump card. But this was sort of the last major change in a deck of 52 cards. Now, that said, this deck, I'm just going to rattle off a couple. You play gin rummy, poker, blackjack, cribbage, canasta, or crazy eights, and countless others, a myriad of other games with the standard deck of cards. But the number one card game in the world, can you guess what it is? Can you guess? Take your time. Think about it. 1 is the loneliest number. Solitaire. Number one game played in the world. Now, keep in mind, there's other decks of cards. There's the tarot cards. These are all sort of spin-offs. I don't know if they're spin-offs of the standard deck of 52, but they're sort of a different set of cards, obviously. Anyway, I'm starting to babble. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Again, a super brief history. I find it humorous that America's contribution is the Joker card in 1860, right before the War of Aggression of the South. Anyway, if you're really interested, it is kind of interesting. You can Google history of playing cards, and there's pages and pages and pages that get into what France contributed, what Germany contributed, what Egypt contributed, what Turkey contributed, and the various processes and how certain games developed over time, how they got their names. But I don't have that kind of time. And to be honest, it's not really that interesting. But I think you could win a bet at a bar if you don't anybody use their phones and say, why are there 52 cards in a playing deck? You could say, because there's 52 weeks a year, because of fucking Pope Gregory VIII in 1852. Any ego there? Anyway, in this world, when you could be anything you want, you be kind, you be humble, you be forgiving, and grab yourself up. Actually, you can find some really old cards that's kind of interesting, but never mind. I'm not going to go down that rat hole. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks so much for watching.